Yo. So listen, man, sometimes the best thing is speed, execution. Don't talk about it, be about it, go ahead and do it. What am I talking about? I've been back from Nairobi, Kenya for maybe, I don't know, it's almost been a week. I wanted to make this video as soon as I could, but I had to let the jet lag and all that stuff get off. I was gonna shoot content while I was over there, but I wanted to be in the moment. I wanted to experience the things that I experienced. And I said I'll just talk about it later. So here we are. This is later. I'm gonna talk about my experience in Nairobi, Kenya, and keep in mind, like I'm not an expert. I'm not your go-to guy when it comes to Nairobi. I'm none of those things. I'm just someone who said life is short, and if you have the opportunity to take advantage of the opportunity, you want to go do something, you want to start a business, you want to do whatever it is that you want to go do, is better for you to do it with speed and get it out the way. Don't talk about it, be about it. So that's where we are. That's what I decided to do. So it was literally like a random Wednesday when I just said, hey, I'm going to book my ticket. It wasn't even like they say, hey, book your ticket 2 weeks in advance at least. Nah, I booked my ticket almost right away. I booked my ticket. I knew that I didn't want to be uncomfortable on that long ass flight. So I got business class tickets. If you want to go on a long flight, book however you want to book, right? I decided, you know what? I work hard. I paid my dues. I put in my work. I've grown my business. I'm going to book a business class flight. So that's what I did. I get to Nairobi, Kenya. It's probably about 8 or 9 o'clock when I land at night. Get to Nairobi, Kenya. And keep in mind, right, this is very, very important. When I get to Nairobi, there's no one in Nairobi waiting for me. There is no friends of family. I'm going out there not having met anyone face to face. I'm just going. I booked my ticket. I paid for my, what is the little Visa, ETA, ETN, whatever it's called. I got that, and I went straight out there. I didn't tell no one that I was going. Maybe told like 5 or 10 people that I was going. But for the most part, no one really knew, right? So I get out there, 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, get my, take a taxi. Now I know that taxis are going to be way more expensive than Ubers, but I don't really, it's a different country, taxi. I'll go ahead and pay it cost me almost $30 to go. Anyways, so I take the taxi, I get to my Airbnb, and I just want to take a shower and just sleep, right? And do that, wake up the next morning. Keep in mind, this is my first time in a brand new city, in a brand new country, on a brand new continent. I've never been to Kenya, let alone Africa. It's my first time here. So I wake up, I look out on the balcony, and I just take everything in. I got my phone and I'm recording. I'm not saying anything. I'm just experiencing everything. The birds sound different. The cars sound different. The horns on the cars, the ambulance look different. Even the birds that were flying, circling around, I'm like, what the hell are those birds? Those eagles, those vultures? What kind of birds are those? I still don't know what kind of birds they were, but those were different, right? Everything was just different. And I get dressed and I'm like, you know what? I really want to go see what the city is about. I want to see what it's all about. I want to experience it. I want to make the most of my time. I want to just take everything in, right? So I call it Uber. All right, I book my Uber. Uber comes, picks me up. I'm gonna go to the mall. I don't know nowhere else to go. I'm gonna go to the mall. I'm gonna get me some breakfast. I'm gonna figure out what all I'm doing, meet some people there, and then go on, carry on with my day. Now this is very important. I'm gonna share this with you. This is something that you can use throughout your life. Doesn't matter whether you're traveling, doesn't matter whether you're in business, doesn't matter whatever the case is. If you're gonna go to a new city that you've never been to before, I highly advise you to always make sure that you are nice and you're respectful to the people who society typically overlooks. So who am I talking about? I'm talking about your security guards. I'm talking about your janitors. I'm talking about your Uber drivers. I'm talking about your restaurant workers. I'm talking about the people who, society kind of turns their nose up to. one, you want to treat everybody with respect, but you especially want to be respectful to these people because they have so much information that you don't have, especially if you're going into a new city. Especially if you're going into a new city, new country, whatever the case is. They know everything. They know the people, they know the back door, the ins, outs. Be nice to these people. Be respectful to these people because they're going to make your stay so much easier. And I'm going to break it down and explain to you why that's the case and why that's true as I go along and tell you this story. So the Uber driver picks me up. I'm like, okay, let's go to the mall. He already knows where we're going, right? And we talking. I want to talk. We talking. So as I'm getting into the car, he doesn't know that I'm not Kenyan. He just assumes that I'm Kenyan. But as soon as I start talking, like his eyes shot open, boom, his eyebrows shot up to the ceiling. It's like, whoa, you're American. You're not Kenyan. I'm like, nah, yeah, I'm American. I just got here. He's like, oh, you just got to Nairobi. I'm like, yeah, this is my first time. He's like, your first time in Nairobi? I'm like, this is my first time in Africa. I've never been here before. So he's like, oh man, like that's so cool. He wants to know about where I'm from. I'm telling him, so on and so forth, right? So he's like, and this is one thing that I'm gonna say about this isn't just specific for Kenyans. This is for people that are trying to make it in developing countries. People they're really, really resourceful. They're gonna figure things out. They're gonna make a way. And I respect it, right? Because, even what I do, like if I don't kill, I don't eat, right? I can only eat what I'm able to kill. So when I see other people out there trying to get it and they're doing it and they hustling, like I just respect it. So why that's even important? Why am I saying that? So as he's learning more about me and I'm telling him this is my first time here, so on and so forth, he breaks off into the whole entrepreneurial lane. Like, listen, I'll show you around the city. I'll take you to this. I'll take you to that. Da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, well, if we go through this app, then I know that you ain't gonna get all the bread. So how much money? I'm asking like, okay, well, how much is this gonna cost? He gives me a breakdown of the cost. I'm like, okay, you know what? This is my first time here. I'm pretty sure that I can get it cheaper than what you're saying, but I'm not really here to bargain, right? And I see what you're doing. Let's go ahead. Let's get it. So he takes me. We go to the mall. He's showing me all around. He's giving me information that I didn't know before. Like right now, when I went to that mall, I had to get a Kenyan cell phone. I had to get a Kenyan cell phone because a lot of places, I'm not gonna say a lot of places outside of the city or some of the smaller mom and pop shops, they're not gonna take tap. Now, tap when you pull out your card and debit or credit, whatever, and you tap it, and then that's tap, right? But they take something different, and it's almost like a Cash App type of system, but it's for them. And it's called M-Pesa. And the only way that I know that you can get it, you gotta, get a SIM card from there, and then you can load money onto it. And that's just kind of how it works. So we go to the mall, I get food, I gotta get this new thing, but he's giving me the game. He's telling me like, oh, you gotta get this, you gotta get that, da 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 da. All this stuff I wouldn't have known. Now, it's a good thing that I got that because me coming from out here, assuming that everybody's gonna take tap, you get into a situation where something might cost $15 and they don't take tap and you don't got no cash or no way to pay for it. That could kind of be a problem in another place, even though to us, like it's $15, but $15 is a lot of money in other places. So he's giving me that game. I get the cell phone, and now we're going around the city, showing me different things. I go to this like tower building, and up there it's like an observatory where you can look around a 360 view, see the whole city and everything. He's pointing out like, oh, one of the presidents is buried there, and this is where that happens, and this is the central bank. Like we're in the CBD at this point. This is the central business district, and he's showing me all of this different stuff that I wouldn't have known on my own because I'm a foreigner. I'm not from there. So I would have never known all of this stuff. And not that it's even important now. It's cool to see now looking back in hindsight, but also like if I'm in a situation, at least I would have my bearings to know, okay, well, my Airbnb is that way. The airport is that way. Like at least I could figure that much out. So that was cool. So we'll get through that day. And the whole time this is going on, I'm judging the interactions that I'm having with people. I'm judging the interactions when people find out, when I open my mouth and they find out that I'm not from there? What are those small details that you don't say, right? What are the small details that your body naturally does? How does your eyes look when you tell me something? How does your body respond when you hear that I'm not from your country? Is it responding in a way that says, okay, I could probably get over on this dude, or maybe I can, you know what I mean? Like, I'm paying attention to all of these little things because I'm in a country where everyone speaks English. Most people speak English, but they also speak other languages. So I'm paying attention to, you know, the ways they talk to each other when I'm around. I'm just paying attention to everything. And I'm gonna say this right now. Like, the Kenyans are so cool, man. They're just like they're cool people, right? And I'm home, right? I'm not over there no more. I'm back home. You know, I don't need to blink twice. You know what I'm saying? But the Kenyans, man, they're so cool. Like that whole Hakuna Matata thing, like, that's a real thing. Like, they chill people, right? But this is day one while I'm there and I'm trying to figure things out. You know, in hindsight, I can look back and say, yeah, everyone was cool. But in the moment, I'm paying attention to everything. My senses are really heightened because, again, I didn't tell that many people that I'm over there. My cell phone works, but it don't work how it works here, right? The internet, you might run into spotty situations where your internet don't work quite the same, right? Them satellites ain't talking to each other like they do in Seattle. So I have to pay attention to everything. Day one, everything goes by cool, man. Everything was straight. Now, when your senses are heightened and you're paying attention to everything, you are, at least me, I'm looking for the blatant way for you to try to get over. Like, are you blatantly trying to pull a fast one? Like, that's how I'm just geared that way. That's just me. And the reason why I'm bringing that up and the reason why that's important is this. And I was wrong. I'm just going to say this now. I was wrong in my judgment, but how else am I supposed to look at it? So another day goes by. I call another Uber. I said an Uber to go take me over to, you know, a far part of town so I can go get breakfast. Uber comes, picks me up. As we're going there, she's like, yo, it's going to be more money. I'm like, what? It's like, yeah, it's going to be more money for me to take you there. I said, nah. I said, go ahead, turn the car around. Turn the car back around because I'm not paying you no more money. I could have paid it, but the fact that I didn't like the way that I didn't like that. So me, with my senses being heightened, I'm like, yo, you trying to pull a fast one. Take me back to the crib. So I get back, call another Uber. You know, everything gets taken care of. But the following day, a similar situation kind of happened where they show up and they're like, yeah, it's going to be X amount of dollars for me to take you there. More. I'm like, yo, why are y'all talking to each other? Y'all know, like, because the section of the area of town that I'm in, it's called, where was I? No, the Westlands. A lot of foreigners, when they come to town, they go there. So I'm like, is this like a Westland thing? You see me or you hear my voice and now you, like, what is this all about? So I called the Uber driver who was taking me around before. I said, hey, man, listen. I said, this is what's been happening. He's like, yeah, but you know, a lot of the time, he breaks it down. A lot of the time, the person, once they accept the ride, or before, prior to them accepting the ride, or once they accept the ride, something like that, they don't necessarily always know where they're going, right? So that's kind of where it came in. And since it happened twice, I'm like, okay. So once he told me that, it's like, okay, I'll believe it for now, but I'm definitely going to ask somebody else that's unrelated to this situation to see what they say. And so as time went on, I asked around, and apparently that's the case. So over there, they will, you know, not always know where they're going when they're accepting these rides. So I was like, okay, she was telling the truth. This was really the truth. This is what the case was. So that made me feel a little bit better. Okay, so let's go to the game drive. Now the game drive is going inside of the national park that's in the middle of the city. Like, that's crazy in itself. I don't think there's no other city in the world where you have a national park inside of the city, right? Inside the city, national park. where you can see all types of all types of lions and giraffe and all of these different things. So that's a really big deal. If you ever go to Kenya, make sure you do that. If you're in Nairobi, make sure you go ahead and hit up the game drive, right? So the day before the game drive, I'm in that area. I go to the giraffe center. And the giraffe center is just a bunch of giraffes walking around. You get to feed them, take pictures. It's a cool experience, right? But we're on our way there, and I'm with a completely new Uber driver. And it's the same thing. He hears my voice, and now we're talking about a whole bunch of stuff, which is cool because, like I said, you got to keep it cool with people who other people naturally or whatever they're going to overlook. So we're keeping it cool. We're talking, laughing, joking. Man, listen. We're driving to the giraffe center, yo, and I seen something that I've never seen in my life. There was a damn baboon like running across the street. And I'm like, yo, we're in the back, and he looks up. I'm like, yo, that's a monkey running across the street. And he looks over and he slows down. He's like, oh, you married? They don't got this in America. And he slows down and he's kind of explaining. He's like, no, man, he said, that's not a monkey. He said, that's a baboon. I'm like, well, shit, I don't know. I don't know. That's, it looked like a monkey to me. So he's telling me, yeah, sometimes they will come over. They can get over the fence from the reserve. He's like, they don't bother people. They want their bananas. They live in families. They have their parents and grandparents and aunts, and they live in a pack. It's a family of them. So he's explaining it to me. And I'm just like, damn, I'm taking pictures and videos because I ain't, we don't got nothing like that over here. So I'm seeing all of the stuff. And then he's telling me, he's like, yeah, sometimes for the people that live close by, they will try to come get your bananas. I'm like, well, what about in the city? He's like, no. There's nothing like that in the city. We don't have that kind of, it's just only because it's close to the thing. Right. And which makes sense since it's close to the park. They're going to be able to climb the gate. Then that makes sense. So anyways, do the whole giraffe center thing. And then on my way home, remember, I said that you have to make sure that you're nice and you're respectful to people. They're going to give you information. So on my way home from the giraffe center, I get another Uber driver and we're driving back to the crib, right? And as we're talking, he's like, listen, man. He said, you're not from here. So on Wednesday, which I think it was the 25th, I don't know, 20 something. He said, but anyways, on Wednesday, don't come to the CBD. Don't come to this part of town. And I don't know. It's like, why? What's going on? He's like, man, there's going to be protests. I said, okay. I said, that ain't nothing. We're from the U.S. Like there's protests all the time, especially in Seattle. But he's just telling me like, man, just don't have you'll be fine in the Westlands. Just don't come to the CBD because there's going to be a lot of protests going on. And he kind of goes into it a little bit why there's a protest and stuff like that. None of that stuff's important for this video. He's just telling me. He's giving me information that I didn't get from no one else. Right, I didn't get none of this information from. I got it from the people who I'm able to connect and able to bond with. Right, so I get back to my room, and the security comes up. By this time, security come up. They call me by my name. We laughing, and you know what I mean. Like the one of the guys, he just kind of want to know he want to know what America's like, and I want to know more about, where they're from. So we just kind of connected on that level. So I asked him, like, hey man, what's up on Wednesday? He's like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. He's like, don't, just stay on this side. It'll be cool on this side, or you could just leave town and come back Thursday. I said, what you mean come back Thursday? He said, yeah. He said, yeah. He said the protest is only for one day. I'm like, only a 1 day planned protest? He like, yeah. He said, we'll be too tired by Thursday. He said, everything is back to normal. So I was like, damn. I said, they're going to be put. So yeah, they're just going to have a 1 day protest, and they're going to go back to life as normal. Right. So I was like, okay, cool. That's good information. That's good to know. So time goes on, boom, 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 past the protest. I could see it from where I was staying at, right? I could see it, and they have their their stuff going on. It is what it is. So we do the the game drive. So in between the protests, we do the game drive, right? So the game drive happens. I'm in there, waking up early, going to go do the whole thing. It's me and a bunch of other people, right? Um, at the end of it, like I'm burnt, like I'm ready to go back to the place. So we headed back, man, and it's unfortunate. Someone, one of the ladies in the thing was just talking so bad about Kenya and Nairobi. Well, not necessarily Kenya, but about Nairobi. You know, she hates the city. It's this, it's that, and I'm like, I don't know her. I don't know this lady. You know what I mean? But the drivers, they're Kenyan. They're from Nairobi, and I can look on their faces. And they wanted to say something, but they couldn't because that's their job, right? Their job is to get us safe, get us, through this whole thing safe, and make sure we have a good time. But I was the last person to get dropped off, and I could see kind of the mood between the two guys that changed. And so I told them, I said, "Listen, guys, like I don't feel that way about your city or about your country." I said, Nairobi has been dope. And the people here have been so cool. Like, I would love to come back in. And the guy, he kind of set up in his seat. He's like, "Yeah, man, our city isn't bad." She was saying this stuff, and I'm not allowed to say nothing. And I felt bad for him. And I was telling him, like, nah, a lot of the time people come from different places, or they bring their experiences from where they're from, and then they want to, oh, it's like this back home, or it's like this back home. He's like, yeah. I'm like, able to say things that he hasn't really put the words together to say, and he's, yeah. And his buddy is shaking his head, the one that's driving, and she's like, yeah, people do that to us a lot. They talk down on us and stuff like that. I was like, nah. I said, nah, I know what it is, and I'm just kind of like telling them to get their spirits up, encourage them, and so on and so forth. So we're driving down the street, right? We're driving, and they're about to take me to my room, and there's these guys on the side of the road. They like they selling like this bamboo looking stuff. So I'm like, man, what is that? I said, what are these guys selling? Because I see these little vendors everywhere. That's the thing about Nairobi, is like, there's vendors everywhere. Everyone's hustling. You literally gotta work or you don't eat. So everyone is out trying to get it. I'm like, what is this stuff they're doing? Why are they selling these bamboo? He's like, no, that's not bamboo. That's sugarcane. Well, I don't know. Maybe in like Florida or somewhere they got sugarcane or something down there, but where we don't got sugarcane out here on the West Coast like that. Like, at least, maybe you can go to a specialty store and buy it or something, but it's not like that. So I'm telling like, yo, I never had that before. And they like looked at each other and then looked back at me like, yo, you never had sugarcane before? I'm like, nah, I ain't never had it. Like, why are you supposed to do it, right? He's like, oh man, I'm gonna get you some sugarcane. Let's pull over. I say, well, I only got my card. I said, they take card. He's like, no, don't worry. I'm going to buy it for you. Right? So he buy me the sugar cane, and they're like, okay, you just telling me how to do it. You just got to chew it, and then spit it out. And this is going to be your first time trying sugar cane? I'm like, yeah, I ain't never had it before. So I'm chewing it. I'm like, damn, this is good. They're like, yeah. They high-fiving and shit. It's like, you want to go and do this? We can go do this. It's not a part of the tour, but I go show you this and show you that. So just being able to connect with people, you know what I mean? Just like on a human level, and showing them like, yo, like, just because you come from somewhere else don't mean that you got to shit on the people that's here. That you may not really like your experiences up until this point, or you may not even like the city that you in, but no one drug you here and forced you to be here. So now that I'm able to connect with these guys, they showing me a whole bunch of other stuff that I never would have seen if I would have just not said nothing or stayed quiet or whatever the case is. And now I'm having sugarcane and this and that, and they taking me to places where they to try their cultural foods and this and that, like all of this stuff, just because I'm connecting with them on a level. It's like, I don't care what y'all do for a living or whatever the case is. Like, I see you for you, see me for me, and then we'll judge each other based off of that. So that was a real cool experience. So, the other crazy thing is, yo, when we were coming home, so the Maasai, am I saying that right? The Maasai tribe, they're the ones who they wear the red, and you always see them. They're the ones that's jumping, right? They're the like to me, like that's probably one of the most popular village or popular tribes in Africa. Like to me, right? I've always seen them, always heard about them. Maybe because of that Air Up There movie from back in the day. But anyways, they are allowed to herd their cows in the street in Nairobi. Well, not in the street, but like on the side. Apparently, they're allowed to herd them. This is what the guys were telling. So on the way home, one of the cows like almost like rammed the truck and shit. Like it scared me, it scared them too, right? It mashed on the brakes, like whoa, but it ended up being a cool situation. Like nothing happened, and nothing happened. So there was definitely other things I could, other little instances that I can go into, but I don't want to make this video too much longer than what it is. At the end of the day, man, it's like this. My experience in Nairobi was beautiful. It was a dope experience. I met so many cool people, right? Cool people from like different tribes, different villages. They invited me to their village. Like when they was like, next time you come back, we're going to take you to our village and, I just met so many cool people, man. So I think Nairobi's a great place. I think that if you are in the U.S. or in the West and you want to go to Nairobi, to make sure you go there with the, with the open mind and also an entrepreneurial mindset if you plan on staying there. But overall, man, it was a dope place, and I got so much out of that trip, just in terms of, how I view certain things and, patience, and you're gonna learn some patience. So you gotta be patient. But well, yeah, man, that's it. That was my Nairobi experience in a nutshell. With that said, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.